Nice fish. Little guy. Little sauger. Start the day off. We're out here on the Mississippi. It's March 13th. Decided to come out, go for a little bit of fishing here today. We're using jigs and minnows. Little sauger. Start the day off. Not gonna lie, it's been a little slow this morning. We got a big front coming through today. Might have something to do with it. Water temps are up to close to 50. Fishing should get better, so stay right there. We're gonna show you some tips and tactics today to get some big walleyes and saugers in the boat out here in the spring river fishing time. So stay right there. Should be a good day. Amidst changing the battery here, had a nice hit. Wasn't even holding the rod. Seems like it might be a good one here. Oh, yes.
Oh my good lord.
Oh, there we go. That's what we're after there, boys.
I could be sitting over there, he'd catch it up here.
I like that bad boy right there, guys. This is what the springtime walleye bite's all about out here on the river, jigging with minnows. I really should get my pliers out, but once again, guys, just a nice fat female fish. I'm gonna get a quick measure on this for you. 25 and a half. There you go, look at that. Wasn't even holding onto the rod. We'll get a good release on him. Oh yeah, took off nice and healthy yet. All right guys, like I was trying to say just in the last shot here when the battery died, we're out here on the Mississippi. It's early March and we're jigging. Pretty common presentation for really anywhere this time of year. Lakes, rivers, streams, anything like that. Out here though, basically what I'm doing today, I'm using a VMC Hammerhead jig, which you can see right there. 1/4 ounce is what I need today for the current conditions. And then I've got on the back a trailer hook, okay? And basically made by Northland right here. This happens to be a red version, red color, but the plain color will work just fine too. And what I'm doing is I'm hooking that on that secondary eyelet that this VMC Hammerhead jig comes with. It's a great tool to assist in maybe a lighter bite or just a nip on the tail of the minnow. And then what we're doing is we're getting pretty decent sized shiner minnow, and we're gonna run the hook right down the mouth like this, if I can get him to open its mouth. We're gonna run it as deep down as we can, and we're gonna come out right behind the head. That way the minnow lines up just like so. And then a lot of times you're gonna hear guys saying to leave that stinger hook just hang like that. And that way when the fish opens their mouth, it's the lightest piece of the system you're running, and it'll get sucked into the mouth of the fish. Well, problem with that is we got a lot of debris on the bottom of the river, current and things like that. So what I do is I just ever so lightly tick it in the back. Gives just a little extra hook. And on the fish I just released, she had both hooks in her, so she wasn't getting away no matter what. Pretty simple setup. It's an easy setup. It's fairly cheap. You can get probably a dozen or so of these jigs for like $6-7 at pretty much any outdoor retailer. And then the stinger hooks are a couple bucks for a 3-pack, which is absolutely awesome. So stay right there. We're gonna try to get some more fish on camera for you today. I'm gonna probably put some Band-Aids on. I got some hooks in me just then, but stay right there. I'm gonna show you the jigging technique next. It's not anything super fancy or different, but it's important to understand a few concepts here when we're fishing early spring. Current water temps are 44.6, so it's gonna play into your jigging presentation a little bit. So we'll see what we got. I'm gonna get cleaned up from this one. Slow down on the hook set. Just lift up on it and wait to feel it. You got a treble hook on there too. I mean, just tension will get them sometimes. Every time I feel a bite, there you go. The bow man got one this time, folks. I learned from the last one, I actually use my pliers. Can you get tension and just keep it like that for a second? Nice little walleye. Want a picture, Mark?
Good.
Off he goes, nice and healthy. Here's another one of the setups that we're using. Another VMC Hammerhead jig. Same trailer hook situation. How'd he hit? Pretty hard, or?
It was a couple taps and then it was just a steady pull.
Couple taps and a little pull, yeah. That's pretty standard that we're finding out here. There you go. Let's give you a little bit bigger minnow this time. All right, 18 feet of water again. That's kind of the ticket. The 25.5 and the sauger all came in 18 feet. That's 3 fish in a row now. Good job, Mark. You know, I guess I'm going to take this time here and explain a little bit about our jigging presentation that we're using today. We're basically going upstream and we're drifting with the current, and I'm using my trolling motor to slow us down just a little bit so that our line is ever so slightly not vertical, downstream way. And what I'm doing is I'm letting my line down until I get slack in my line, so I know where the bottom's at. And I'm keeping about 6 inches worth of that slack line, so I've got some motion there. I can let it down to the bottom, I let it sit for just a second or two, and then I just tighten it up and lift it up off the bottom. 3-4 inches is all you really need to do. And I just hold it. And then I let it back down to the bottom, find that slack line, find the bottom, and then lift it back up. And just repeat that over and over and over. And you can adjust with how fast you lift it and things like that. But what I'm finding this year in the springtime, real subtle presentation has been the best. You know, obviously you got to maintain bottom contact. That's what's really been working. And so you just lift it up, set it down till it gets slack, tighten up, and on that upswing, 99% of the time, that's when you're going to get that strike, and it's going to be as light as a little tick, but there's always going to be some more tension and pull behind it. It's not going to just be a tick and slack, most likely. So that's why you always want to keep contact with your line and the bottom, and when you let it down to get that slack, you only do it for a second, just to know that you're for sure on the bottom. It seems to be working pretty good. Is that kind of what you're doing up there, Mark?
Kind of what I got going up here.
Okay, good. Well, we'll see if it starts slowing down. Maybe we'll change our jigging presentation a little bit. We'll get a little more aggressive, or just, quite frankly, just hold it. A lot of times that'll work too. If you got a bottom where you can't really risk letting it down onto the bottom like that with that slack line, because of rocks or stumps or whatever it might be. A lot of times too, if you find the bottom and lift it up just 4 to 6 inches and just hold it, and maybe a little bit of movement up there, but that can work for you too. So try different presentations. Again, we're running 44.6 degree water temp, so it's still pretty cool. We're getting close to that spawning time, so a lot of these fish are still staging up and getting ready to get the spawning ritual on. So it's a good time. Obviously, again, I told you we're here in early March. A lot of the lakes and things in Minnesota here are closed for walleye, so definitely check your regulations and understand that side of the law. We're out on a pool that happens to be open season year-round, catch and release only. So every fish we catch today, we will be letting go. There is sections down near Red Wing that is year-round fishing also with size restrictions. So just make sure you check your local regulations and understand the laws and work within them. Well, hey Mark, it was a good trip out there on the river again today.
Thanks,
Spring
man.
walleyes, I appreciate you coming out. Guys, as you can see, just a quick short video, give you a few tips that you can use out on the water in the springtime for walleyes. You know, don't forget, buy yourself a bunch of jigs. preferably these VMC Hammerhead Jigs. I really enjoy using those. Pick yourself up some Northland stinger hooks, and it's really as simple as that. Get yourself some minnows and come out and have a good time. One thing we didn't cover real heavily in the video is that we were fishing a sandy, gravelly transition coming off about a 15-foot shoal. Seems to be a good staging area for the walleyes this time of year. Get yourself a 6.5 foot. This happens to be a Shimano with a Shimano Sahara 2500. Great setup. I really enjoyed it. A good time. We got a couple fish on crankbaits. We weren't running camera at that point in time, but that's just how it goes, you know. Definitely when the fishing slows down, don't hesitate. Throw a little bit different presentation. You know, we wanted to work a little faster for some of the more aggressive fish, and it worked out. You know, the bite definitely slowed down though. I think last week was really hopping. I think we need another 4 or 5 degrees water temp, and we should be getting into that 50-degree water, and the spawn should be right around the corner as far as I'm concerned. So again, thanks for watching Matt Quick Outdoors. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course YouTube. Thanks a lot, appreciate it. Thanks again, Mark.
Yep, thank you, Matt.
All right.